What's up, y'all? Welcome back to The Attic. Today, we're going to review 2025 as a whole and see how the machine learning models have done this year. All of this data starts from the beginning of February when version 2 of the models were fully rolled out, and I started collecting all of this data. We ended January with a bankroll size of $113.35, and the first event we placed any wagers on with V2 was UFC Fight Night Adesanya versus Imavov on February 1st. Since that time, I've attempted to make predictions on every single fight for every UFC, PFL, LFA, and one championship card for the entire year. I haven't been able to make predictions on every fight, but we have bet on all of them that I could. Since the last time we talked, there have been a couple of updates to the bankroll graph, the first being PFL Africa 4. We did place a bet on Shito Boris Esperanca. I did not watch that fight, but I did hear that he quit on the stool, which cost us 2.5 units to close out the year. After that, we won a contest. I don't know for what. I just click buttons on some of this NFL stuff and hope for the best. But they gave us 10 free slot spins, which gave us 0.25 units in profit. And they gave us $52.08 in free play. That free play does have to be spent well before UFC 324. So I'll be making those predictions a little bit early. You'll be able to get that video ahead of time for free on my Patreon if you are interested. If you like keeping everything on YouTube, that'll come out the Monday before the fights, as always. Finally, we got the weekly bonus like we always do. Since we haven't been placing any bets, this one was a very small $1 for 0.15 units in profit. When it was all said and done, we closed out the year with $725.48 in the bankroll. That is a profit of $612.13 in the past 11 months. We have multiplied the bankroll by 6.4 times in less than a year. This wasn't all from MMA betting though, so let's have a breakdown and see where this money actually came from. For the MMA bets alone, we placed a total of 710 wagers. We won 436 of those and lost 247 for a respectable win rate of 65.2%. In total, I risked $7,704 and won $1,997. We also lost $1,763 for a profit of $234 or a 3% ROI. As you can see, $234 is substantially smaller than the $612 profit we made in total. We'll get to that shortly. Of the $234, we made most of that on favorites, who accounted for $159 of it, but that is only an ROI of 2.3%. The underdogs only returned $46.47 with a much higher ROI of 7.8%. And finally, on True Pick'ems, we profited $28, but with an incredible 16.8% ROI. Now, if you know my betting strategy, in general, I place much more money on favorites than I do on underdogs or pick'ems. As you can see from the ROI, I am doing a terrible job of maximizing value here. I should be placing more money on the underdogs and less on favorites in order to make more profit. I will definitely be working on the back end to develop a new betting strategy, which hopefully increases our ROI very significantly over the next year. Now, we talked about what's left after this $234, so let's look at the breakdown of our bonuses. A lot of these bonuses are a result of the money that I bet. That includes the monthly bonus, which turned into a daily reload about halfway through the year. That profited us $67.61. Unfortunately, I only have one birthday every year. Hopefully the bonus gets bigger. This time it was $5. We also won a few contests this year for a profit of $102.08. One of them was the NFL draft. I wrote a program to predict draft picks for that and ended up profiting $40. The other was some random NFL thing that happened this week. I made $52.08. I have no idea how. I just click random buttons so that I get included on all of those. The third one was $10 that I made from golf. I don't remember. $10, some contest. I entered it. I made predictions. I made money. Can't hate on it. We made $21 from free slot spins. I have no idea how they decide who gets them, but I'm going to be honest with you. I hate slots. It's robbery, but I love my free slot spins. I get excited every time they send me free spins. Doesn't make much money, but I enjoy it. I got one level up bonus this year when I went from bronze on VIP to silver on VIP. It was $25. I'm 46% of the way from silver to gold, meaning that with my compounding bankroll, I should get there early to mid Q2 next year. With that level up bonus came weekly bonuses. I ran some numbers. Those bonuses seem to be right about 5% of my losses I get kicked back. This totaled $57.15. Finally, badass dude from here on YouTube and the Patreon, Adam, asked about referrals. I sent him a link. He signed up, deposited some money. I got $100 free. The total bankroll increase from non-MMA betting this year was $378.11. About 170 of that is weekly bonuses, reloads, things that can be attributed to how much I bet. The rest of it is other little side games that you should hunt down and you should take advantage of at any book that you possibly can. Never, ever turn down the opportunity for free money, even if you just take random ass guesses and hope for the best. So that's a pretty general breakdown of how everything went. A little more in-depth look for every promotion. We've won on 372 favorite wagers and lost 131 of them for a win rate of 74%. Our win rate on underdogs is just under 40%, and our win rate on pick'ems is 61%. If we look at win rate by division, you can see that flyweight and bantamweight for men's are very low for me. Only 50% on men's flyweight and barely 56% for men's bantamweight. For featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, and middleweight, we're pushing 70% on all of these, and there's no reason those can't improve this year, but that's not where we need the improvements. It's over here in the lighter weight classes. To be honest with you, I thought the women's divisions were going to be my biggest downfall, but most of those are very profitable. Two around 70%, then 100% because Chris Cyborg is the only one that had a featherweight fight this entire year that I could bet on, but she won, gotta love it. And then women's bantamweight down here again at 52%. This tells me where I need to focus my energy and where I need to develop new features for these divisions to up this win rate. For some of these, as good as they look or as bad as they look, the sample size is just very small. One fight may as well not exist. Then 19 fights, this is not a large sample size. This is not enough to say that long-term, the win rate's 52%. Even 34, 38, not really that good. As we get up here closer to 100, we're seeing numbers that are a decent enough sample size. But when I'm testing for my theoretical numbers, I'm testing against 1,000 fights per division, not 100, not 200. We're testing against 10 times this many fights. So we can see some massive changes to these just over the next year without any changes, but I'm still looking for those changes. I'm still looking to improve anywhere that I can. If we dig a little deeper, you can see on flyweight, we made 52 wagers and we won 26, lost 26. We still only lost $23, but that's a negative 5.8% ROI. We can dig a little deeper into favorites, underdogs, and pick'ems and see where everything's really going wrong. But that's out of the scope for this video. I'm not trying to make an hour-long video for you guys here. I'm trying to give you the overview. I'd like to do a live stream with you sometime soon. So if you're interested, leave a comment below. We'll get in there. You guys can ask all the questions you want, and we can really dig into what's important for you and what I find important and why. But I could spend hours explaining this to you otherwise. We're just not going to do that here, not today. What we will do, though, is give you guys this kind of overview for every promotion individually. We're going to start off with our smaller promotions here, and that is going to be One Championship with the least number of fights on it. On One Championship, we ended up with 37 total wagers with 25 wins, 12 losses for a very good 67.6% win rate. Unfortunately, we still ended up taking a net loss of $17.75 for nearly a negative 3% ROI. Moving down a little bit, you can see favorites we were very successful on, 71.9% win rate, but we still took a loss here. This is almost certainly because of a couple of big favorites that tanked it for us. This would reconcile itself over a larger sample size, I believe. I think this win rate of 67% is more than enough to be profitable over time. We will definitely continue to bet on One Championship in the future, and I expect to turn this around pretty quickly. The underdogs are an absolute shit show. We won 0 underdog bets with 3 losses. We lost $17.70 here, negative 100% ROI, absolutely tanked it. I don't know what to tell you. 3 is just not very many. That's basically what it all comes down to on One Championship. Our sample size is much too small. Pick'ems, we went 2-0 here. We've got 108% ROI. Very good look here. It just isn't enough to cover all the rest of our losses. Finally, let's look at the win rate by division. Again, you can't glean a whole lot from this, but what we can see is we've done exceptionally bad on bantamweights. Then light heavyweights and heavyweights are essentially a coin flip up to this point. We're just going to have to play this one out and see how it goes over the next year and figure out more as we can. We're going to go ahead and move on now. We'll move from One Championship over to where the next fewest fights are on LFA. There's 80 total wagers on LFA with a total risk of almost $950. We have a 65% win rate here. As long as we're not overwhelmingly betting favorites or overwhelmingly betting underdogs, this should be a profitable win rate in the long run. Unfortunately, our net loss here is $35.28 for a negative 3% ROI. A little bit deeper in the breakdown, we've gone 74.6% win rate on favorites with only 26.7% on underdogs. As you can see, we have taken a loss on both of these still. I think this is just a time thing. I'm not really sure. We were profitable on LFA up until the very last event of the year, where we took a massive $53 loss to bring us down from very slightly profitable to very much unprofitable. Again, pick'ems are profitable. Pick'ems are profitable everywhere with a 66.66% win rate there. Looking at the win rate by division, this time, again, we see bantamweights just aren't doing that well, but we also see some other lower numbers where we have it elsewhere. Welterweight and middleweight are doing bad here. Light heavyweight seems to be a trouble spot as well. Again, there's just not a lot of data here. These smaller promotions just aren't putting out enough fights for me to get all of the data that I'd like to have. Of course, we're going to continue betting at a 65% win rate. One, I expect this to get better because these models have improved significantly over the course of the year. But also, I expect this to be a profitable win rate in the long term. Let's move on to PFL. Again, PFL was profitable at a real long downturn here, but it was profitable just before the last event of the year, which is where we just lost that Cheeto Boris Esperanca fight. We're getting to a reasonable amount of wagers here with 119 total wagers, but our win rate is quite bad on PFL. Only a 60.5% win rate. This is not a good win rate. This is one that I think would cause me problems in the long run. Fortunately, our loss has been very small, only $14.83 for a negative 1.1% ROI, but we do not want to be seeing negatives in the long run anyway. I'm hoping this shows a substantial turnaround early in the year. It'll make me feel more confident, but either way, I'm going to continue betting on PFL for now and see where it goes in the long run. Our total risk is only $1,300, and our money won and money lost are very similar. As you can see again, 71.3% win rate on favorites and 35.5% win rate on underdogs. Unfortunately, we've lost some big favorites here, so even with a good win rate of 71%, we are still taking a loss of nearly $31, while the underdogs are only cashing at a 35% clip, but we are seeing a profit here. The pick'ems, on the other hand, are 4-4, exactly 50, and somehow we've made a profit of 1 penny, baby, making that money. Breaking this down by each division. Again, we're getting crushed by the bantamweights. I'm going to have to look for some new features and change some stuff up in these lighter men's weight classes and see if we can increase this win rate here. This is going to be a loser in the long run at this rate. Looking good most other places. Welterweight and middleweight are also low here, but light heavyweight, not good. 44.4% is not good. Finally, let's have a look at the UFC. This one, as you can see from the graph, is our profitable promotion. It also sees the most action, so it overcomes these swings a lot more. We had some big downturns, but we always recovered over time. We have way more wagers here than anywhere else, with 474 wagers, 314 of those winning for a 66.2% win rate. Our total risk is much higher than anywhere else, $4,840, for a profit of $301.88, or a 6.2% ROI. The UFC kept us above water this year. Our win rate on favorites is extremely good at nearly 75%, and our win rate on underdogs is also quite good. It doesn't sound good, 43.6%, but we are betting and winning underdogs that are paying plus 250, plus 300, even bigger sometimes. So this small win rate, as you've seen from other promotions, can produce profits in the long term as long as your money is going on the right fighters. We're doing extremely well on pick'ems in the UFC. We've won 15 of 25 for a 60% win rate, and we're profitable across the board. The UFC is a fantastic example of why we should be placing more money on our underdogs and our pick'ems. Our favorites have an ROI of 5.2%, while both underdogs and pick'ems have an ROI of about 15%. I need to find a viable way to get more money down on these plus money bets every week. It will increase the profits by a lot. Finally, let's break down the UFC by division and see how we're doing here. Flyweights is our trouble division here. No surprise, the lighter men's weight classes did not serve us well this year. Bantamweights saw a substantial recovery in the UFC. Unfortunately, every division in every promotion is run off of different models, so this is not indicative of PFL, LFA, or one championship improving over time. Other divisions, incredibly good. Featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, mid to high 60s, low 70s, all very good. Again, we see a drop off at light heavyweight. I have no idea why, but it seems that in every promotion, light heavyweight has an issue. We're going to have to suss this one out and see what I can find. Heavyweight, incredibly high. I'm very surprised this looks so good for, a knockout can happen at any time kind of division. And then the women's divisions. I'm happy to see these as high as they are. I thought this was going to be a real trouble spot for me, to be honest. I feel like that a lot of women's divisions, a lot of female fights are just an absolute coin flip, but we beat the odds by a long shot here. 67.70%, 77.3%, and then we have women's bantamweight at 55.6. Not fantastic there. We'll have to see how that one plays out over the long term. 18 fights, again, quite a small sample size, so it will take some more time. That's just going to be part of this game. I would like to do a deeper dive into more of this with you guys. I have this breakdown for every division, but that is outside of the scope of this video. If you're interested in something like that, leave me a comment below. We'll figure out a time to get together on a live stream, really dig into this stuff, talk about where we can improve some numbers, talk about some new numbers that might mean something, try to develop a new betting strategy. Let's look at making this twice as profitable or more in 2026. The data's all there. The numbers are all there. We can get better. Anyway, that's all I've got for you for now. Keep your eyes out for UFC 324 predictions coming soon. Join me on the Patreon for free if you'd like to see those a little bit sooner. And keep your eyes peeled for a live stream coming soon. That's all I've got for you this week. Predictions for UFC 324 coming, about fight time to YouTube. They'll be over on Patreon earlier for free. If you're interested, join me there. Check out the Discord for some more in-depth breakdowns on this kind of stuff, as well as anything else, questions you've got. I answer them all over there. I post up photos. There's data on the new Fight Goes the Distance models that I'm working on. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching and good luck on all of your bets for the entirety of 2026.